lens here. See a little pipe bowl here, and it looks like, yeah, it looks like a little face, so it looks like a Turk's head pipe bowl. I'm surprised I found it actually because it's so sludgy today. Let's give it a little rinse off. Yep, here he is. Look at that, a perfect little scene. As I walk along the Thames foreshore, I'm always picking up bits of glass and pottery to make my glass fish. I mean, they're essentially just discarded objects that people have got no more use for, they're broken and they've washed up on the Thames. And I just love the idea that you can still use something that's broken and that's been thrown away to make something beautiful. That idea that things that are broken still can have a purpose. And a few years ago, I visited somewhere in California that taught me that beauty can indeed be found in the places that you least expect it. Now, you wouldn't think that a place in California could have certain similarities to this place. But a prison that I visited, which I've now visited actually a few times, but for the first time several years ago, started off its life as a prison hulk. And it was the prisoners that built the prison. So let me take you on a trip there as I do a little bit of beach combing next to the bay in Marin County. I was quite surprised at what I found. I'm here near Larkspur in Northern California, and I'm wandering along the river here, doing a little bit of beach combing. There have been some very high tides recently, and it's been raining like mad, so there's all sorts of weird bits and pieces washed up. And I'm doing pretty well on the baseball front. I found 2 of them in about 10 minutes. And also a totem pole squeezy dog toy, so I'm doing pretty well. And just over there is San Quentin prison over in the distance. You can just see it there. Before San Quentin existed, there used to be a prison ship moored just off that point over there. And then the prisoners on the ship actually built San Quentin. And of course, where I go mudlarking in London, near Woolwich, there were prison hulks moored up along that shoreline right up until 1865. And I'm going to introduce you to some of the prisoners who are also artists and poets who live behind those walls on San Quentin's death row. I'm expecting a phone call from one of the inmates called Steve Champion in about 5 minutes. And so whilst I'm waiting, let's carry on with some beach combing. And just there, I've spotted a little figurine in plastic. Looks like a little cowboy embedded in the mud here. Let's have a look. Let's get him out. Oh, yeah, there we go. Give him a little rinse off. Cowboy. I can see a little bit of tide line art over there, so I'm going to go and investigate. Yeah, so here's a great piece of tide line art made out of some old polystyrene-y stuff. Now look at this beautiful piece of driftwood. It's like a sculpture all on its own. Look at that. It's really stunning. Let's put it on a rock. That's a beautiful piece. Now, if I lived here, I would take that bit with me. So down here, it looks like a type of a bottle stopper. I'm not sure if it's got any age to it, but let's give it a rinse off in this water here. See if we can see any identifying marks on it. Obviously been here for a while. What's it got on it? I can't quite read it at the moment, so I'm going to have a look later on, but could this be my first mudlarking find? Some beautiful little sea gems here. I've just found this and it looks like a, I don't know, like some form of tooth or the end of a feather or something interesting anyway. An angry bird.
This is Global Tellink. You have a prepaid call from Adisa. An inmate at the California State Prison, San Quentin, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, is that Steve Champion?
Yes, it is.
Thank you very much for agreeing to have a chat with me, Steve. For the purposes of those people listening to this conversation on my YouTube video, please could you introduce yourself?
Sure. And I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you as well as to your audience. My name is Steve Champion. My Swahili name is Adisa Kamara, and Adisa means one who makes himself clear, and Kamar means one who teaches from experience. I am currently at San Quentin State Prison. I am on death row, and I have been on death row for 37 years.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I've been doing some beach combing along the shore close to San Quentin, and it's hard to ignore the imposing building just looking out over the bay. And it makes me want to know more about the people inside. But 37 years, how have you coped with 37 years on death row?
Well, it is without question a challenge. And one of the things that I had to do in order for me to cope here is that I had to create a reason for being, for my being. And I had to create a central purpose in my life. And having a central purpose in my life is like having an alarm clock, which allows me to wake up every morning and feel inspired.
Okay, and so what is the central purpose of your life then? What did you find to
Call
create?
and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Okay, sorry, I'll repeat that question. I'll repeat that question. So what did you find then to be the central purpose of your life?
Well, first of all, getting to know myself and learning about the world, and so that took me on a journey in terms of educating myself and studying and reading about various subjects, and basically reading, every book, that I could get my hands on. And more importantly, though, I wanted to learn about myself. I wanted to learn about who I am, and so I had to go on an inward journey. And during that course, also, I learned to appreciate learning to become a writer. So these two things became central in my life, and those two things are what gave me a central purpose, and that is what allows me to become inspired each and every day.
Okay, so that's learning and writing. And so what do you write about?
Well, I write poetry. I write essays. I have also been fortunate enough to co-author 2 books and author 1 book. But most of my writing is geared towards inspiring people to reflect and transform their lives. And so I write about the things that inspire me, and that can be a short story, fiction or nonfiction. That can be an essay about some type of social issue that exists in society. And so these are the things that I try to write about.
Okay, and so would you say that you have transformed your life during these 37 years that you've been on death row since, goodness me, you must have been a teenager when you arrived there?
Well, absolutely. I certainly hope I have. And without question, I am not, the person who I was when I came here. I was basically a young man, and, now I am a full-grown man. And so without question, I have transformed myself, basically, because my horizon has been broadened. I have become more insightful and more self-reflective.
Okay, so hopefully then, I imagine that you would hope that your writings then would inspire and help other people to transform their lives. And I know that there are also a lot of artists behind those walls. The prison is so very bleak. When you look at it, it's a bleak place. It doesn't give you very much inspiration, to be honest, when you look at it. So where do you and others draw your inspiration from for your creativity, for your writing, for the artwork?
Well, let me just speak personally for myself, and I imagine that many of the artists here draw their inspiration from various sources. But me personally, I draw my inspiration from within myself first. And then sometimes I draw inspiration from something that I might see or something that I might hear. Other times, things just come to me. And I like to say that, They come from the creative source that created the universe. So it's just, something I see, something that I'm thinking about, something that I hear, or it can just be having a conversation with somebody, and something, would just, click in my mind, and it may be a sentence, it may be a phrase, it may be a word, and what I try to do is attach some language to that image.
Okay, and in terms of the art, and going back to the art again, why do you think it is so important for prisoners to, or those people who are incarcerated, to create artwork and to do creative writing? Why do you think it is so important?
Well, I think it's important because what art does is not only connect you to the social world that many people incarcerated have been, divorced from or separated from, but what art can do, it can force you or cause you or encourage you to look inward. And so I think it's important, that the art allows one to self-reflect as well as to reflect about, the human condition.
Okay, and when I see the prison from the outside, I feel that it's just full of people who are no longer part of society, that they're forgotten about behind the barbed wire and the walls. Do you feel that you and others on death row have something to offer to society?
Well, absolutely. Absolutely, I do. I think it's important that the people, or I believe some of the people on death row, who have taken the time to look inward, taken the time to work on themselves and take ownership of their lives, and who are doing the work on a consistent basis, I definitely believe they have something to offer the world. And I think what they have to offer is the lessons of their life based upon their own experiences.
And can beauty be found even in a place like death row?
There's an old saying that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And I think that beauty can be found anywhere because you're dealing with human beings. And it all comes from the imagination and the inspiration of the human condition. So beauty can be found on the Riviera. It can be found in a hut in Cambodia. It can be found in Siberia. It can be found in the slums throughout the world. Because beauty comes from it comes from one's imagination and things of this nature. So it can, without question, be found on death row.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
As a mudlarker, I find a lot of pieces of history in the River Thames, often with names on them, such as clay pipe stems, luggage tags, engraved jewellery, and everyone leaves a story to be told, and people from the past. And I've been inspired or touched by so many of these stories left behind by people hundreds of years ago. I mean, what story would you like to leave behind for future generations?
Wow, that's a good question. But most of my writing is geared towards inspiring people to reflect and transform their lives.
Thanks very much, Steve. Would you like to read us a couple of your poems, please?
Sure. The first poem is titled Beyond the Walls. The dream hovers where even the senses can't touch it. Separating itself from the mind, it dances upon the moonlit surface like art, unfathomable in its reach, rising like morning mist, free only to disappear somewhere in the vastness of the mystic mind, beyond the walls. And the second poem that I would like to read is titled I Sing. sing, not for praise or critique. I sing to stay alive, reminding myself singing connects me to God, to a universe, to a spatial reality no confinement can touch, no oppression can wipe out. Singing heals my wounds, softens my heart. Men sing in solitary confinement to free themselves from boredom. I sing to stay human because I don't want to go insane, so I sing.
Thank you very much, Steve, and thank you for agreeing to talk to me and
You have 60 seconds remaining.
to talk to the people who watch my YouTube videos.
It was my pleasure, and just thank you for giving me the opportunity to share some of my views and some of my work with you as well as to your audience.
Thank you. Bye-bye.